Bible Histories.
Vile Victorians.
By the 1850s, the Victorians were becoming quite advanced. They were flocking to cities to find new jobs in factories. This caused overcrowding and unsatisfactory conditions in rural areas. In certain cities, it was worse than others. But it was also getting better for many people. The steam engine made it easier to move around, and this helped general transportation as well as the creation of the electric streetcar. As the new industrial inventions were invented, factories sprung up randomly all around various cities such as Paris. Due to poor planning, cities were ugly. In Sybil, or the Two Nations, Mining Towns by Benjamin Disraeli, the entire British country is viewed as a vast rabbit warren, intersected with canals, crossing each other at various levels, and whole rows of houses awry from the shifting and hollow nature of the land. Chimneys roared and puffed in all directions, making the cities extremely ugly until they were rebuilt by planners such as Baron Georges Haussmann. I guess you could say that the land was barren of cleanliness.
I can't believe you don't know who I am. I'm Baron Georges Haussmann. I'm the one who transformed Paris from a labyrinth of narrow, dark, overcrowded streets to a beautiful city. Because it was gross. I was carrying out Napoleon III's belief that rebuilding Paris would provide employment, improve conditions, reduce disease, and testify to the power and glory of France. What didn't I do? I bulldozed many buildings and cut beautiful boulevards through the center of the city. Thanks to me, people can move easier and revolutionary barricades were prevented. I demolished the worst slums, stimulated the construction of better housing, especially for the middle class. Thanks to me, there was better waste disposal and water disposal. Everything I do is significant. My new city provided a new model for urban planning and stimulated urban reform throughout Europe. I was the one who inspired other city planners such as Vienna and Cologne, so I should be given all the credit.
Are you in search of a great life but can't afford a place to stay? Are your dreams of living in the big city crushed by the reality of no money to get a home? Then you've come to the wrong place. But there's no other place to go, so you're stuck here in a dirty, crowded, unsanitary tenement. In these tenements, you are very likely to catch infectious diseases and die, and you are not entitled to compensation. We developed these buildings on the smallest possible lots to pack 60 people, but due to higher prices, we can now fit 300 people in the exact same space. And you're all sharing a single outhouse. Good luck! You have no front yard or backyard, but at least you have a home. Call 1 to rent your terrible tenement now.
Yes, this is really how most urban working classes lived during the 19th century. Streets were lined with narrow, long houses attached to each other, with only a small alleyway separating one row of houses from the next. In these houses, it would not be uncommon for 6, 8, or even 10 people to be sharing extremely small cellars or attics. Toilet facilities were to be shared with up to 200 people in a single outhouse. These outhouses were rarely emptied, leading sewage to overflow and get into the homes of the urban class. There at last came a realization that millions of Englishmen were living surrounded by their own excrement. It was an absolute fiasco. Not to mention homes, even the urban planning of cities was a disaster. What a mess. Once upon a time, in the 1870s, European cities began to hire private companies to operate horse-drawn streetcars.
Thank gosh we have horses to pull our cars. Thank gosh for the Americans blessing us with this amazing
Horse-drawn streetcars. So 1870s.
Welcome to the 1890s and the great revolution of electric streetcars.
Yes, electric streetcars were cheaper, faster, more dependable, cleaner, and more comfortable than horse-drawn streetcars. There were several limitations to horsepower. Street railway owners invested as much as $200 on each horse alone. Under even the most ideal ground, horse-drawn streetcars could only travel 4 or 5 miles per hour, barely faster than a person could walk. There's no wonder why electric streetcars were the more appealing ride.
Oh my gosh, horses! I love horses! They're the best thing that has ever happened to me. Oh my gosh.
What was that chick in white thinking? Horses to power streetcars were the best thing that ever happened. Please, give me a break.
I can hear you. Do you want to live in new spacious housing? Do you want to be near more parks and open spaces? Are you tired of the noisy city with the disgusting streets and its disease-causing air? Are you grossed out by your current roommate or several roommates? Well, the suburbs is the right place for you. Yeah, don't thank me. Thank our sponsor, the electric streetcar, for making suburban commuting possible.
Wow, the streetcar is so fast and convenient. What once took me 3 hours to get to work by foot only takes me half an hour by car. Praise to this lovely invention.
I don't want to go to school. No! Every time I hear that stupid honk of the electric streetcar, I'm reminded I have to go to school. And I didn't even finish my homework.
And that's it. People were miserable, but I guess they were lucky enough to have a new remodeled Paris and amazing new cars to take them where they wanted. Life was getting better for the majority. Although it was still absolutely terrible, things were looking up.